Yo! What you doing? What the fuck you doing?
Like, I hope y'all have backup plans, but everybody has the inside. It's just the fucking Future Mall Cops of America Association in there, okay? Y'all gonna be out of a job in a year? We're coming for your fucking pensions. It's
Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hodcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I haven't been uploading for almost a week. That is because I've been quite really depressed and down with what's been happening in society over the last few weeks. You see, I think about society a lot more than I think about myself sometimes, and I'm worrying what direction these progressives are taking us down, because they have collated a lot of power in a very short amount of time, and what's more, they've took it by force. And you have to ask yourself, what use is voting if the people that we vote for refuse to stand up to the people who are trashing society in the worst way possible? Now, the death of George Floyd united left and right, but it's the response of these progressives and these deeply sinister organisations like Antifa. And I'm sorry, but BLM, your image has been trashed by these radical leftists who have hijacked your movement and destroyed it. So today we have more footage, more madness from what's happening in the United States. There's also some other more very sinister things happening around the world. I might go into those, I might not, because it is quite hot, but we'll see as the video progresses. So if you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and most importantly share this video, because that helps me stay competitive with the big multinational corporations that YouTube is unfortunately choosing to prioritise. So with that out of the way, let's get into the first clip. Okay, so first up we have Portland, Oregon. This is hot new stuff just happening about an hour ago, taken from Andy No. I'm sure you know who he is. He's very good. He keeps us all up to date with what's happening with the radical leftists of Antifa, who, as you know, want to completely destroy Western society and replace it with something akin to Soviet Union. The horrors of the Soviet Union. People like you and me would be put up against the wall by people like this. So this is a clip of yet another driver who's just fed up with Antifa disturbing everyone's days.
Yo! What the fuck you doing? What the fuck you doing?
What do you hit? What just happened?
So this guy's likely a guy on his way home from work or whatever, and he's just had enough. Now, we know that Antifa block roads, and then they attack cars. They've been extorting local businesses, attacking local residents, and the police have done nothing about it. On the contrary, they have actually abandoned the precinct, as I'm sure you know by now. I just wonder what it must feel like to be Antifa and have this much power, to act with impunity. If I did what they do in my local town, running in and out of traffic like that, kicking cars and doing all of the types of things that they do, I would be arrested in 2 seconds flat. But they are allowed to do it.
Here he comes, here he comes. Here he comes, watch out, watch out, watch out, keep the fuck out of the way.
This is what happens when the police disband themselves, in essence. People will take the law into their own hands to clean up their own streets from these vandals that have just literally taken over downtown Portland. We've seen it in Seattle. They're trying to do it also in Los Angeles, all over the place, and nobody stands up to them. On the contrary, the law, they take the knee. They bend the knee to extremists. Next, we are still in Portland. This time it involves Antifa Black Bloc, and they're doing some kind of strange thing to the local police precinct, which involves tying ropes around things. The video's not quite long. I'm not sure what they're doing, but I do know that it does not have good intentions. But listen to the hypocrisy in Antifa when they get questioned by a local journalist.
What's the purpose over here of this?
Maybe don't film.
Yeah, what's the purpose of you filming? That's really not appropriate. And this is appropriate?
And there you go. The local journalist says, and this is appropriate. The tying ropes to fire hydrants. I'm not sure if they're trying to break in. I'm not sure what they're doing, or they're trying to stop the gate from opening. But they're doing something to damage the local authority building. And the Antifa people, as you heard, they said that it's not appropriate to film them, a journalist filming them, but it is appropriate for them to damage property. This is the left-wing mindset. That's the progressive mindset. This is the mindset of the people that you have allowed to dictate terms to you.
That's how people die. So stop filming. This is how people die?
Yeah, you're risking the lives of everyone. Please don't film me.
This is the thing, right? I'm sorry to keep interrupting. They say that the journalist is risking their lives by filming them, but they're not risking their own lives by doing this, or other people's lives by doing whatever it is they're doing to this precinct. Now, this is at the core of leftist ideology. This is how they think. They want all the rights with none of the responsibilities. Responsibility and consequences for your own actions are considered colonial thinking. It's wrong think. Being held responsible for your own actions is something that happens to you and me, conservatives, okay, even independents. For leftists, their actions are never their own fault, because in their mind, and they believe this with their heart and soul, it's always someone else's fault, never their own. And this is why they never change. They never change, they never listen, and they never get better. Next, we're going to listen to a rousing speech by Antifa and BLM, who tell you quite clearly what their goals are and how they believe that this is their moment of revolution.
No, but you can be a fucking influence to these other fuckers here. Don't fucking pipe up. I think you were posted out there, so I don't think you came on. That's a long ass break. You've been out there more than 15 minutes.
Because I'm yelling. You guys are not gonna win them over. The best you can just do is just like tell them that they're gonna, we're coming for you guys' pensions. Like, you guys know that, right? I hope you guys have backup plans.
They're coming for their pensions. That's what Antifa says. Bearing in mind, this is Antifa, people who have never worked in their lives, people who are middle class, whose parents have paid for their entire existence. These are dropouts. These are misfits. These are people who are telling the police officer that they're going to come for their pensions. However, and this is the important kicker here, the police are acting like these guys are of no consequence. However, everything I've just said is true. However, the pandering to the far left and the not taking the far left seriously has ended up in the situation we're in, where they have taken over entire blocks. They control the education system. They're clamping down on free speech and free thinkers online, especially at the likes of Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And these people, the far left woke brigade, the Antifa types, they are being allowed to do exactly what they're telling you they are gonna do. They're being allowed to do this, okay? As stupid as they sound, as ineffective as they would be if we stood up to them, because no one's standing up to them, they are allowed to do what they like.
I'm trying to make them all quit their fucking job right now.
Like, I hope y'all have backup plans. Everything I see inside, it's just the fucking Future Mall Cops America Association in there, okay? Y'all gonna be out of a job in a year? We're coming for your fucking pensions. It's hilarious. I hope every one of you has a backup plan. I hope every one of you has a way that you're gonna explain this to your children in the future. There's gonna be chapters on June 2020 in the fucking history books that we're gonna rewrite.
How about you?
There you go. I'm sure you just heard that. He said he's going to rewrite the history. This is what they've been taught in the Marxist education system, to rewrite our history. What do you think they're knocking down statues for? Why do you think they are knocking down our statues? Just think about it. It's not difficult to understand. The truth is right there in front of your face. Just open your damn eyes and take a look.
So you're gonna be the fucking enemy.
And the police have gone into the building because more of the Antifa type people have come around the corner, much to the joy of Antifa, who, as you saw, are mainly privileged middle class people who have never wanted for anything in their life. The thing that I don't like about these people, is they will try to assuage their own self-hate and their own guilt on the backs of working class white conservatives such as myself. Why should I feel guilty for, or why should I be held responsible for your guilt? Not that you should really feel guilty for being who you are anyway. But then again, you are Antifa, so I know that I'm talking to a brick wall on this particular subject. Okay, moving on, we're still in Portland, and this time we're at the Central Police Station, which has been boarded up, but to the best of my knowledge has not been abandoned. Now, we have a bunch of Antifa Black Bloc type groups outside, and of course they have become highly triggered by the sight of an American flag, and they do what Antifa does best. The fact that so many of these radical leftist groups have such a huge problem with cultural heritage sites with the flag of their own countries just shows you the scale of the problem that we have built for ourselves as societies in Western countries. Now, I'm sure some of you would have heard of the phrase fifth columnists. I probably wouldn't have, a lot of you, especially outside of the United Kingdom, you probably haven't heard of the term fifth columnist. A fifth columnist is essentially a group of people, fifth columnists, or that's plural, or you can just call a single person a fifth columnist. But a fifth columnist is a person or people who actively engage in behaviour which is designed to corrupt and destroy the foundations of their own societies because they want to replace it with something else. And we're seeing this, as you saw in the clip what we played before this one, where the Antifa man, I was just about to say gentleman, but he's anything but a gentleman, but the Antifa guy who said that they're going to rewrite history. First they're going to go for their pensions to leave them penniless, then they're going to rewrite the history. Why do you think they want to rewrite history? Bearing in mind the education system is already as Marxist as hell, but it's only going to get worse if, as I've said before, people do not start pushing back on the far left woke narrative. You're going to see more people burning their own flags, just disgusting, appalling behaviour that does nothing for anyone, is not beneficial to anyone in any way, and only serves to divide us further. I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it 1,000 times, I'll say it again. The death of George Floyd was a tragedy, it shouldn't have happened, and the officer in question has been charged with his unfortunate passing, okay? Now, his death united us. It's all of this stuff that follows it. The flag burning, the statues come toppling down. People aren't stupid. We know that's got nothing to do with George Floyd. Your woke actions, Antifa, have driven a wedge between left and right that is so far, the gulf is so vast, I'm not sure it can ever be bridged. I hope it can, but I don't think it will. Next, not to be outdone by the United States counterparts, as you've probably heard, there is currently a sectarian battle happening in France, in and around Paris and other parts of France, but especially Paris in the suburbs. Now, Paris is an unusual city because look, elsewhere in the world, in the Western world, the suburbs are the peaceful, prosperous places, and it's the downtown that is the really bad areas. In Paris, the roles are reversed. The downtown area used to be the lovely place where the better people live, and the suburbs. And in Paris, it's the suburbs that are the bad areas. And that's the strange thing about Paris. It's the opposite way around from most cities. Now, this is Paris in one of the suburbs. As you can see, cars belonging to innocent Parisians are being toppled over, smashed. Everything's being looted. And who is doing it? Antifa and their friends in the BLM movement. That car belonged to somebody. That might have been their first car. It might have been a 19-year-old hair and beauty. Her first car. It could mean the world to her. She's got nothing to do with this. And look what you've done. Now, the police often come in for a lot of stick for allowing all this to happen. And that is true. They're paralysed with fear because they're being attacked by this woke left mob online and on the streets, and they're not getting any support from the authorities are higher than them, the politicians, who they have seen literally taking a knee to the left, and they've took a knee too, and still they get attacked. However, the French police are usually different. The French police usually don't tolerate this type of stuff. However, here you can see them doing nothing, really. These type of actions are going to continue so long as these people think that they can do anything they like without repercussion. In the United States, we saw them, some of them were finally arrested. However, the governors and the mayors ordered them released, and some chiefs of police ordered them released without charge after looting jewellery shops and banks. Think about it. People can wake up in the morning and say, right, I think I'm going to go and rob that bank. And as long as they do it under the banner of progressivism, under the banner of Antifa, nothing will happen to them. And finally, if you wanted to just get the gauge of just how insane it is to bow down and take a knee to Antifa and the types of people like this, here we see a prominent member of Antifa who is using an orange, yes, the ones that you eat or the ones that you crush up and drink, an orange as a COVID face mask. You see, she just lashes out and attacks the cameraman. there's never any. We must be living in like an alternate universe or something. I need to go outside completely naked, spray paint Antifa on myself, walk on my hands with my feet up in the air, and put my underwear on my head, and I could just go and rob anything. I could become rich beyond my wildest dreams. Nothing makes sense. Nothing at all. And that's what happens when you bow down to lunacy. I get the one thing that gets me is this phrase progressive, because it sounds great, doesn't it? Like everything else with this Orwellian far left claptrap. Progressive, they always give it such beautiful sounding names and phrases and descriptive words, okay? However, when you look at it really for what it is, you'll find it is something very ugly, okay? Progressive, has anyone asked what exactly they are progressing towards? I've asked people that, I've asked myself that. Based on what I've seen, they seem to be progressing towards a mixture of George Orwell's 1984 combined with Sodom and Gomorrah, with a bit of Mad Max and Armageddon thrown in to the mix. That's the type of world they want you to live in. Because remember, if they get their way, if the far left gets their way, they'll be the ones making the rules. They won't have to live by them, you will live by them. They will just do whatever they like, only 10 times more than you're seeing now. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment sections below. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's watch Orange Lady again. Hit the notification bell, and most importantly, share this video, because that helps me stay competitive with the big multinational corporations that YouTube is unfortunately choosing to prioritise. That was a crap punch. Thank you and goodbye.